There's a lot of teams that are interested in calling the Raptors for Pascal Siakam. There's no teams interested in calling the Lakers for the players that they want to trade. And I don't know if they don't think they want to trade Austin Reeves. Teams would be interested in that. That's the thing. The Lakers have to go through this homestand and figure out whether they're going to do something. But even if they want to, they don't have guys who have high value right now like the Raptors, have had over the last few months. So I don't even know if it's comparable. I think the Lakers would love to do things. They would love to be getting these calls, love to have these options. They just don't exist.
What do the Lakers need to do? You were saying you were tempted, Shanae, to say, okay, maybe I'm going to get back in on LA, particularly while they're at home in this stretch. What would convince you that, yes, the trajectory of their season is now going back up?
Well, last week I called for it. They need to focus more on their offense and not just their defense. 2 years ago, their defense carried them to a championship, but within the next 2 years, the rest of the NBA, rising tide lifts all boats. Offenses have gotten better. Point and perfect example are, the Pacers. They went from about 20th or so in offense, and now they're leading the league in offense. That's just the nature of the game right now. So I know this style of winning with defense has really helped you individually be successful, but they have to focus on their shooters. Like you said, D'Lo, I called for him to get more meaningful minutes and let him play his best basketball. I think that might be on the horizon. Leaning towards those types of things, I think, will help the Lakers. But I don't see them getting the player that we all hope and dream. Like, they've tried to do this by small pieces.
Yeah. If you're the Lakers, Zach, what calls are you looking to take right now?
I'm talking all offense. Shanae nailed it. Their defense is fine. Their offense stinks. It wasn't even good last year, but the West wasn't as good last year, and they kind of had a good playoff matchup bracket set for them. They're 23rd in offense right now. They've been around there the whole season. They have no shooting, no offensive rebounding. They're just completely lifeless on offense. So they're going to come to a crossroads, like Brian talked about. And the crossroads is this. Are we okay with LeBron James at age 39 holding a player option being just flat out not good enough? Like, I don't care how good our defense is. If we're 23rd, we ain't getting through the Western Conference. We're not getting to the second round. We might not get to the playoffs, period. Are we okay with that? Or are we going to take a big, big swing that, as Shanae said, could be a whiff if it's the wrong guy with the wrong contract that handicaps your team for the next 3 or 4 years because it doesn't work out? That may be the stark, painful, difficult choice they face, but that's life in the NBA, and that's where they are right now.
I mean, they made one a couple years ago when they got Russell Westbrook, and it's no shade to Russ, but he just didn't match with AD and Braun. I'm still standing on take a gamble with Zach LaVine. And I know Zach LaVine, right, we only seen him in spurts as far as him being consistent in Chicago, right, under Billy Donovan. But Zach LaVine is a bucket getter. Like, he gets buckets. And I just want to see him under the wing of a LeBron James and see if his level, which I know it will, of professionalism will go up. That's all he's lacking.
Yeah.
His athleticism is there, so I know he can slide those puppies on the defensive side of things.
But that's
so
the question.
At the end of the day, he is a walking bucket, and he is an upgrade for the Los Angeles Lakers.
But isn't that the question? How much defense are they willing to sacrifice with a player like Zach LaVine?
What's kind of happened in the wake of the in-season tournament.
Nobody playing defense.
Well, in the wake of the in-season tournament, they're playing LeBron and AD so many minutes that they've had to scale back their defensive intensity. So instead of playing the defense that they played last year and earlier this season, they're kind of having to save their defense a little bit, which puts more pressure on their offense, which has this cascading effect. And the other thing is, whenever you talk about Zach LaVine trade, go to the trade machine, try to put it together. It's going to take 3 or 4 players to make it happen. Those types of trades are difficult. If I was the Lakers, I would call the Bulls and I would ask about Alex Caruso, not necessarily Zach LaVine, but Zach LaVine is the one who's available. Caruso, at this point, is not.
And I think the idea of Zach LaVine sounds really great. Perk, hold on one second. I think the idea of Zach LaVine sounds really great, but what helped James Harden get to where he needed to go was that he was on the floor enough. Like, being able to make a big swing for someone that could potentially help your offense, you want to see them on the floor. You want to see that they're available and they're healthy and that they're doing their thing. And I think that's the hardest thing, to forecast that on something that they don't essentially have all the answers for.
Right. Perk, go ahead.
I'm confused. We just talked about how the Lakers need to upgrade their offense, right? And Wendy said that he'd take a swing at Alex Caruso. When you got a guy that has shown that he can average 25 plus, this game is about a bucket.
Well, one guy makes $40 million and one guy makes 10.
Team defensive.
That's the difference.
But hear me out. Stay with me real quick, Wendy. Just because we have teams like the Celtics that are like one of the best teams defensively, or the Nuggets or whatever the case may be, that don't mean that they're actually good defensive teams. The teams are about getting buckets, right? Like, nobody in this league is playing. We just had a show last week about, it was 5 teams scored over 120 plus points or something like that, where it was games where they were just scoring bucket after. Yeah, it's ridiculous. So let's not act like people are really out there just defending. Like, it's not about that no more.
I understand,
it's about
but the way the Lakers are structured, they are structured to defend and have LeBron and AD carry him home. But right now, their defense isn't quite that good, and LeBron and AD haven't been able to give the same energy level that they gave earlier in the season because so much is being asked of them. What the Lakers really need is they need the guys that they signed last year to play better. And if that doesn't happen, and you're looking at Zach LaVine, you're looking at making the exact same trade they made for Russell Westbrook, which was taking 3 or 4 players, signing a guy who, if he doesn't fit, they can't retrade, and potentially hollowing out the formula, just like it won the Lakers the title in 2020, the formula that got them to the conference finals, hollowing it out. It is not a simple transaction. It's not as simple as the Lakers saying, okay, we'll do it. I'm serious. Go to the trade machine. Try to see what it takes to put together a deal to bring a player.
I don't have a machine.
All our
Wendy.
viewers can go to the internet.
I don't have a machine. That's Bobby Marks.
Well, trust
All my
me.
thing is we asking what the Lakers need, and I'm telling you, in a tough Western Conference, you need a third star, and even a third star might not take you over the hump. Look at the Phoenix Suns and the way that they're struggling right now with their big 3. You just need so much offensive firepower that it's ridiculous.
Yeah, but it feels like the concern.
They're never going to move with offense. Their entire structure is to be designed to defend and let AD and LeBron carry them home.
Yeah.
That is how they got to the conference finals last year. That is how
Wendy,
they got.
You lucky I ain't in that studio.
It's how they won it in 2020.
They're not going to go from the 25th offense to the 5th offense.
Major relief. I cannot say the same, though, for the Boston Celtics. Watch Jaylen Brown here. Okay, so this was called time and score. Foul on the floor. Ben Mathurin saying, okay, let's review it. Watch it again. So they're going to challenge this call. The Pacers are. Here is James Williams on what they decided.
After review, the backside defender, Buddy Hill, hits the ball. Therefore, the call on the floor has been overturned to a no call.
That's not right.
Scalabrine on that call. He is right. This is an unexcusable call because they called on the foul on the floor. It'd be one thing if they called no foul on the floor and they didn't have, irrefutable evidence. This was a foul on the floor, and Buddy Hield after this game said angels were on my side.
And there's evidence that Jaylen Brown changed the trajectory of his shot because he got grazed while shooting it. That is not a natural shooting motion. If no one touched him, he would have shot it normally.
Well, Jaylen Brown, he is perplexed by this decision. 2 seconds left. The Pacers.
Of course, there's going to be a foul on the.
I was going to say, you got to let that one go, but I know you got to let that one go. Equalizer.
Oh, man. Porzingis called for the foul. Mathurin would make both free throws. The Pacers hang on to win 133-131. Here's Jaylen Brown on the controversial call.
I definitely think that one should be investigated. I asked him, did I get hit in the head? And he said no. And I asked him again, are you sure? And he said yes. That's what pissed me off, because I know I got hit in the head. And then you see the replay, it's pretty obvious that I got hit in the head. And then you look me in my eye and tell me that I didn't. I think that needs to be investigated.
I can't wait till 4 o'clock tomorrow.
What happens at 4 o'clock tomorrow? The 2-minute rule?
I just can't wait till 4 o'clock.
What are you bothered by?
I'm not bothered, just Buddy Hield told me that he fouled him, so I can't wait for that. Can't wait for the last 2-minute report.
Well, Mr. Mazzulla, we are 40 minutes away from getting that last 2-minute report, but we do have this from LeBron James. See what I'm saying? Clearly, he got hit on the head. They reviewed the play. They reverse it. Man, what? Good game to have an ending like that. You see, I would be going bleep bleep out there when that happens. Big perk. We got plenty of voices weighing in on a crucial call down the stretch here. But my question is, should the Celtics fans be more upset about the reversal of the call or the fact that they blew a double-digit lead at halftime?
Malika, if they gonna be doing all this crying, Jaylen Brown, Mazzulla, LeBron, what the babies go do? You gotta leave the room for some babies to cry out here in the world as well. Listen, at the end of the day, I always harp on this. You cannot leave the game in the officials' hands, right? And this is what it came down to. It was still a tied game before Porzingis went on the other end and fouled. So at the end of the day, the Celtics blowing that lead, especially with Indiana best player being out, going out because of injury and Tyrese Haliburton, like that's a problem. Like they shouldn't be complaining about that. Complain on why they actually gave up 133 points and they're one of the best defensive teams in the league. Like complain about that. Complain about why they couldn't close or finish the game when they had the lead. That's what I hate about this situation. Like these situations when it comes down to officials or a game-winning shot or missed free throws, everybody want to come back to the last moment and forget what happened in the first, second, and third quarter.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear that crying.
Not to mention, I mean, missing Tyrese Haliburton. There's just a whole lot going on there. Perk, thank you. All right. The result of the actual game aside, though, on the Pacers side of things, what's likely going to have the biggest impact, right, is the fact that Tyrese Haliburton is going to miss some time here. Now look at this. Tyrese has been a breakout star of the season, right? His absence, it means the Pacers offense is going to be without the league leader in assists, who is putting up numbers we haven't seen since John Stockton in the mid-90s. And really, there isn't a lot of margin for error here. This is what I mean. Take a look at the Eastern standings over here. There's essentially a 5-way tie here for 4th place. What does that mean? That means only one team that has a 21-15 record would have home court advantage in a playoff series if the postseason got underway today, while 2 of them would have to fight their way through the play-in just to make the playoffs. That's kind of wild. Zach Lowe, out of all of those teams that we saw mumble-jumbled up in this mess, who's the team you have your eye on?
Oh, they're lurking. They're lurking. We haven't been talking about them much, but they're always lurking. The Miami Heat, 21-15. Hey, remember us? The team that was in the they played. Jimmy Butler, Bam Adebayo, and Tyler Hero have appeared together in 8 of those 36 games. Caleb Martin's been hurt. Everybody's been hurt. Kyle Lowry's been hurt here and there. And they're still 21-15. And remember all that stuff they didn't get to trade for Damian Lillard? They still have it. Not that they're going to trade all of it because they're not trading a Jaime Jaquez Jr., period, probably. Right. But they still got a lot of stuff to trade. They are not scared of anybody. You think the Miami Heat are scared of Boston and their big fat record, Philadelphia, Joel Embiid, Milwaukee, who they beat in the playoffs 2 out of 3 times in the last 5 years? They are not scared of anyone, and I expect them to be aggressive going into the trade deadline to try and get one more guy and have Philly, Milwaukee, and Boston quaking in their boots again. Oh, God, here comes Jimmy Butler and Bam and Eric Spoelstra. They're lurking.